Have you ever wanted to live when Jesus was here? Ever had that thought? Gee, it would have been great to have lived when Jesus was walking the earth, to walk with him and talk with him, to walk with him and talk with him, to see him perform miracles and to hear him teach and preach. Can you imagine? Then you think to yourself, or at least I have, then I would have powerful faith. Then I could move mountains with that mustard seed faith of mine. Then I would never doubt. But even those who did walk with him and talk with him doubted. After being with Jesus 3 years, walking, observing, talking, listening, they still doubted. They still required proof. They still were slow to believe Jesus, to believe who he said he was, who he said he was. Look at Thomas, good old Thomas. We call him Doubting Thomas, don't we? But it's really a bum rap. When you consider all of the good that Thomas did, he gets stuck with the name Doubting Thomas. We don't remember his courage. In John 11:16, it says, Thomas, who's called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us also go that we may die with him." He was willing to go to Jerusalem and to die with Jesus. That's courage. We don't call him brave Thomas, do we? Or his theological probing. In John 14, verse 5, it says, Thomas said to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Yet it's not quizzical Thomas. It's Doubting Thomas. Man, talk about a name you can't shake. Judas betrayed him. Do we call him traitor Judas? No. Peter denied him, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Do we call him Chicken Peter? Other disciples required proof too. Hiding in fear, not really believing. It says some crazy women had told them something. They didn't believe it. And then in our reading from John 20, verses 19 and 20, Jesus came and stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. Is it Doubting Matthew? No. But you know what? Questioning of faith is necessary for growth. If you don't step back every once in a while and say, but your faith cannot stand the trials that will come and attack you. Faith has to be examined. To paraphrase Socrates, faith unexamined is a faith not worth having. So if someone tells you they never question their faith, they're either lying or they're not growing. Sometimes we call this doubt, but it's not really. Webster defines doubt as uncertainty of belief or opinion that often interferes with decision-making. Sometimes we go into periods of doubt, but more often it's a questioning. Thomas and the other disciples wanted proof before they would believe that Jesus had really risen from the dead. Kind of like the Flat Earth Society, they won't believe until they see with their own eyes. "I'll believe it when I see it," is the phrase. Not unlike many today who require proof in order to believe. Then Jesus says this thing that kind of zings us. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. Peter echoes this in 1 Peter 1, verses 8 and 9. Without having seen him, you love him. Though you do not now see him, you believe in him and rejoice with unutterable and exalted joy. As the outcome of your faith, you obtain the salvation of your souls. This is written by Chicken Peter, remember? Thomas proclaimed, "I believe," after he felt the nail holes and stuck his hand in his side. Other disciples didn't say it, yet that's what it took for them. At least Thomas was honest. Maybe we should call him Honest Thomas. Many today say, "I'll believe when God is proven to me." And yet proof is an elusive thing. Outside of one's own experience, you can't prove God with mathematical formulas, but neither can you disprove God in this way. Last week we talked about how the proof is in the putting of our faith into practice. It is in our own experience that we come to know and therefore prove God to ourselves. Albert Schweitzer famously wrote in The Quest of the Historical Jesus this last paragraph. He comes to us as one unknown, without a name, as of old by the lakeside. He came to those men who knew him not. He speaks to us the same word, follow thou me, and sets us to the tasks which he has to fulfill for our time. He commands, and to those who obey him, whether they be wise or simple, he will reveal himself in the toils, the conflicts, the sufferings which they shall pass through in his fellowship. And as an ineffable mystery, they shall learn in their own experience who he is. Jesus and Peter say you're blessed if you believe without having seen. Do you know who they're talking about? You and me. All believers in all generations who have come to faith without first seeing physically the resurrected Christ. We're blessed. Say that. We're blessed. Now say it like you believe it. We're blessed. And yet, as we said last week, it still takes a leap of faith to choose to believe. And then we will see clearly. I don't know what kind of doubts you have this morning, whether you're where you're going to or where you're coming from, but I can tell you one thing. You don't have to see before you can believe. In fact, taking the risk of saying, I believe, without having first been proven to you is a blessing much greater than Thomas or the other disciples received who required proof. Many of you have such faith. Faith that doesn't first require proof, but after the step is taken, has all the proof it needs. Faith that says, I'll see it when I believe it. That's the kind of Easter faith that we celebrate this morning. Let's spend a few moments now in quiet reflection as we consider what God may be speaking to our hearts.